Hello, 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 hello. Shu Allegra here, founder of Grace and Hope Consulting. I am hopping in here again to do another segment of Free Thyself. So, if you've been following the past few weeks, I've been talking about things that we can do to free ourselves from some of the situation we put ourselves in that cause both mental, emotional stress and strain, in our lives. So, I we did one about 2 weeks ago, I believe. Was it 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago? About 3 weeks ago, maybe the first one. I believe we did one about freeing ourselves from or should have, could have, must have, and then we did one about freeing ourselves from people's opinion. Today, I want to do one about freeing ourselves from work. Yes. And you'll be like, well, should we all need to work? Yes, we do need to work, and I know the Bible says, the one who should work doesn't work shouldn't eat, right? So I get that. And but I'm gonna just bear with me here because I'm gonna share something with you that I think we can all relate to, and we all have something to work on about this subject. So work is important, right? We all need work. We all need to work somehow because work provides income. So work in itself, it's needed, right? However you do it, however you work, if it's a little bit, a lot, you know, daytime, nighttime, a couple hours here, a couple minutes here, we all do some kind of work in order to, earn income, right? And even if right now you're not working, maybe you're volunteering somewhere because being working, it's not always about income, although income is needed, right? But working is also good because it helps us socialize with people, be around people, build those connections, and as we build those connections, it gives us a sense of belonging, right? So that's the benefit of work. It also gives us a sense of purpose because as you work, you are contributing to society, you are bringing something to the table, you are, being a part of something bigger than yourself. So work is good, right? But what I've noticed, I've seen around me, and I've also, struggled with this in the past, is that people become slave to the work. Yes, they find it hard to disconnect from work, and work becomes this ever-ending way of life. There's no break. They can't take, they're not even able to take time off, even when it's offered. It's those people who, if they're working for someone else, where they're never using the vacation time, right? And it's like they get to a point like, oh, if I don't use it, I'm going to lose it. Now they're, scrambling to use it. Sometimes people even let the vacation time expunge, like they're not even using that time because they're always working. And for those of us who are self-employed, sometimes it's even worse because like we feel like we have to get this going. We have to keep the momentum. We have to run our business, and then in trying to do that, sometimes a business end up running us. Ouch, 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 ouch. Because that's not what any one of us want, right? That's not what we want. But if you find yourself constantly like checking your email, returning phone calls, even vacation, honestly, your work is kind of running your life at that moment if you cannot, take a break. And I know, like when you're self-employed, for those of us self-employed who work for ourselves, there, even when we're on vacation, sometimes we have to do those things if we have something going on. I know personally, like I'll, the benefit and the advantage of being self-employed is having the freedom to kind of live the life that you want to live, right? Sorry, I had to hydrate here. So it's to live the life that you want to live. And I plan things with my kids. I plan, vacation time. I plan day trips. So I know, like, if, for example, if I plan a vacation time, and during that time, there've been times where I might have a group coaching program going on, or a group counseling program going on, where I'm meeting with people. Maybe let's on the Thursday, usually it's Thursdays that I do my groups, like Thursday nights at 7 p.m. But it's totally online. So when I'm away, spending my whole day with my kids, enjoying time with them, doing dinner, and then, I'll retreat and have the session. And most likely, I prepare for the session, have my all my ducks in a row, all my material prepared, so that I only leave for the time that I have to present or teach or coach or counsel, and then I disconnect and go back to my family, right? So, and yes, I might check emails I might check my email when I'm away, but it's not like I'm constantly there, like as if I was on the clock. And there are days where literally I will not answer my phone when my phone will die and like the battery die and I don't charge it on purpose. Or if I charge it, I don't turn it on. And the times where I just I won't get on my computer. I have days like that where I won't get on my computer at all if I plan something to do with my kids. It's like a day trip of the kids, or something like that. I know if I planned ahead of time, I could book things around it. I already kind of book my business outside of that time. Then, and I know there's no crisis happening, there's no emergency, I won't answer. And it's something if somebody reach out to me and I see it, I'm like, oh, they need to talk to me. I was like, I'll get back to you later. It's okay. Right. So and then when you're an employee, sometimes I see also people where that they'll sign up for all the open shifts at work. If somebody calls off, they're taking that shift. Something they're going to ask for extra work. I know it might be the best, well, because I need the money. But then when you take the time to talk to them and look at the way they're living, you're like, you're not struggling so much financially. So why this constant need to always work, and saying that you're working for the dough when maybe you're working for something else? And here's what I notice, both as a human being and as someone who works with people. I've noticed that there are some unhealthy thinking processes that goes through our mind when we start becoming a slave to our job, when our jobs start running or work start running our lives. One of those unhealthy thinking processes, what I call thinking, one of them is this idea that if I don't do it, it won't get done. Believe me, you bring a lot to the table. You have a lot to contribute. And there's no over person on this earth just like you. I mean that. I know that. I believe that. But here's the other side of the coin. If something happens to you today, life will go on. The business, the company that you work with will go on. And I hope that if you're working for yourself, that you also have built your business in a way that you have things in place that so that the business can go on when you're no longer there. Because if your business is here to meet a need, if your business isn't here to help people, that mission should live on in spite of you. Your mission, I'll say it again, your mission should live on. Right. So how are you, if you're working for yourself, how are you um investing in that, in the future of your business, the vision of that mission that you have, that your business have, so that whether you're there or not, the mission will keep going? How are you doing that? For me, it's like writing. So I did a Facebook Live on my author page yesterday. I was sharing about how this month alone I have 5 writing projects going on. I have 4 book collaboration, which the chapters I do this month, and then I'm finishing up, putting the finishing touches on Reinvent Yourself workbook. So for this month, I have like 5 writing projects going on. But even though those are the ones that are just the deadlines of this month, there's some that are going on in the background that I already submitted the stories. There's one. Beauty in Your Mess. If you follow me, the Beauty in Your Mess, we did a book last year, and then we're doing a second one, a second edition this year. It's on self-love. Like that one, my chapter's already submitted. There's another one, the conference that my friends and I put together last year, I'm Enough in Christ. It was a women conference. We've been writing a book. That one, like my chapter's already submitted for that. So that's just waiting to be printed, be published. And then there's another book project. Let me think about it now. Oh, that it's Rise Up. It's all about how people rising above what they're going through. I wrote my story about my experience with stroke and chronic health issues. That's already done. So for me, the way I built my mission, so it lives on beyond me. It's writing. Because my hope and my prayer is that my things that I write, the books that I'm part of, whether I'm publishing it on my own and it's a solo project or it's a group collaboration project, those will live on even when I'm no longer on earth. right? And then I also have like the classes that I do, that in the online classes and online programs, those I want them to live even when I'm no longer there. And I'm hoping that as I grow, as Grace and Hope Consulting grows, that I will not have to be the hands of Grace and Hope Consulting, that I'll be in the background and those things will just keep living and moving forward and helping people. The mission should live beyond me, right? But so you have to kind of build that. That's how you free yourself from work. It's like you build, you build, you're living not just for now, but for the future, right? And if you're working for someone else, let me tell you, what if you something happens to you today, that company will keep going. They'll hire someone else. And most likely there was someone else in that position before you got hired. And if you were the first one to be hired in that position, let me tell you that they didn't just create that position just for you. They created that position with someone who has the skills to meet the position. So just think about that. So when you start telling yourself, if I don't do it, it won't get done, just think about, you are not irreplaceable. You bring a lot to the table, but for that particular job, you're not replaceable. They will replace, find someone else to do that job. And then for your business, if you build things enough, if you are strategic in your way you run your business, you should build it in a way that it can live, if even though you're not doing it. Even all those book projects I just mentioned, so many hands are involved in that. Yes, I share my knowledge, my expertise, my heart in what I do, but I share my brain. But honestly, the over part of the work, a lot of people are editing, a lot of people are formatting, a lot of people are helping with with promoting, with the marketing, with all the over stuff. Because again, I don't have to do it all, right? I don't have to do it all, and I know that. So another unhealthy thinking process that I often hear is, um, I don't want to lose the client, or I don't want to lose that gig. So when the phone buzzes, we're looking at it. When the email comes in, we're frantically, responding to it. My friend, you can be chasing the dollar over your well-being, and that is a sad thing. There's only one of you. Don't live a life where you're chasing the dollar and neglecting your own well-being, with neglecting to rest. That is not healthy. It's not healthy now. It's not healthy in the long run. It's not healthy for your clients either. It just clients, so yes, do what you have to do, but set some boundaries how you're spending your time, so your work is not literally running you, but that you are running your job, running your business. Another unhealthy process, another unhealthy thinking process that I heard is, um, what will I do if I don't work? And often people say this in different way. It's a, well, I just can't relax. I have to do something, or what will I do with myself if I'm not working? And we say it, in a joking way, but we don't realize that is a problem. That is a problem. It's a problem if you don't know what to do with yourself if you're not working. If work becomes your way of life, that is an issue. You need to learn to relax. You need to learn to enjoy life beyond work. You need to have leisure activities that are fulfilling and empowering and refreshing. And like with everything we do in life, like I often say, behavior is only the tip of the iceberg. Behavior is only the tip of the iceberg. There's always something hiding underneath. So those unhealthy thinking processes are even hiding a bigger emotional need that's not being met. Yes, people work is needed, like I said earlier, and work is good. Yes, there's benefits to working. Yes, all that are good. But sometimes when work becomes a way of life, when we cannot dissociate from our work, when we cannot unplug and separate ourselves from our work, when work becomes our identity, then there often a unmet emotional need. And this is not just for people who we will consider workaholic. Some people will not call themselves workaholic, but then they don't have a life outside of work. I'll say it again. Some people would not consider themselves a workaholic, but they don't have a life outside of work. And that's a problem. What emotional needs are being unmet in your life that you are using work to meet those needs? Ouch, again, right? So Here's some emotional needs that people often have and they try to cover with work. Sometimes it's the need to prove something. Maybe when you were um, growing up, you feel like you never measured up, you were never good enough, or you never did anything right, and you feel like the more you work, the more you climb the corporate ladder, the more people appreciate you, the more people see that you accomplished something. So you work so hard because you're trying to prove a point. That's an emotional need that's being unmet. And sometimes people work so they can get accepted. Yes, because through work, not only work provides us connection, but also work gives us a status. Because especially in a society where it's go, 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 do, 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 we often don't value people who appear to not be working. And I say appear because I believe everybody works in a way, one way or another. Anybody can work. And if you follow me, you know that I am a disability consultant. I do help people with customized employment because I believe that everybody can work in a different way. It could be 1 hour a day. It could be doing something in a totally different way that you ever think that it should be done possible. But everybody's able to contribute. But when we start seeking work as a way of acceptance, then again, that's an emotional need that's not being met. Right. And sometimes what I've often seen is that work becomes an escape. And that I've been there. Like I said earlier, I'm guilty of this because I've been there. I can remember exactly 7 years ago, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, even when I was in a very unhealthy, toxic environment. That work became my escape because at work I could escape from the situation I was dealing with at home. At work I could go and use my gifts and talents and feel like I was being productive. Like at least there was something I could do. At home there was nothing I could do about my situation. At work I was feeling like I was doing something about things, right? What was helping people was like I know that feeling of needing an escape. But again, you cannot live like that for too long. When you notice those things, if you're working using work as an escape, again, that's an emotional need that's not being met. And in this society, in this day and age where we're always like busy bodies, it's like we always are doing things, doing. Sometimes we don't even realize that we are creating these unhealthy lifestyle, unhealthy way of living, just because we're so used to doing it. So I hope that this will kind of get you thinking about where you are in your relationship with work, right? What is your relationship with work? Do you need to free yourself from that? Do you need to learn to be? Because we are human being, we're not human doing, right? So just learn to be, to enjoy life, and not to make work your life, but work should be a part of your life, not your whole life, right? Do you need to change some unhealthy thinking? Those are the ones that I mentioned. If you think that if it doesn't get done, if you don't do it won't get done. If you think that if you don't do it now, you're going to lose the client or you're going to lose that gig. If you think that what will you do if you're not working? Those unhealthy thinking patterns. Do you need to change that? Do you have any of those? And also, if you're always doing and not being, do you need to learn to put work in its place? Yes. Do you need to learn to run your business instead of your business running you? Do you need to learn to create a space, a way of enjoying life outside of work? So I ask you all those questions so that you're not just gathering the information I'm sharing here, but that it could be like a mirror for you to kind of reflect. Look, I say, okay, where am I? What is your relationship with work? If you need to learn to put work in its place, if you need to improve your relationship with work, if you need to learn to relax and not be working all the time, if you need to change the way you think about work and the things that you do, and also if you have those unmet emotional needs that are affecting your relationship with work, I can help with that. I'll put my link here for you to schedule a free consultation for me, and I look forward to walking with you on your journey to freedom. so you can free yourself from work. Thank you, guys.